When you're in love, or let's say if you don't know the concept of love too well, if you're infatuated with someone, don't you realize that you are very likely to be thinking of that special someone before you sleep or the first thing when you wake up? Which, by the way, if you're trying to manifest for something, Neville Goddard in his teachings, as well as in many of manifestation teachings, they say, if you really wanted something, if you really wanted to manifest something into your life, you are supposed to be creating that feeling state before you sleep and the first thing when you wake up. Not only is this because of the alpha frequency state that our minds are known to be in, but at the same time, when you set that rhythm, that concept for the rest of the day, you're much more likely to achieve. And here's why. Because we all have heard that fear and scarcity drive people to do things out of threat of losing something. But on the other extreme, love and desire is the other great motivator of people to go out of their boundaries to do very extraordinary stuff. Think of a time and comment beneath this video if you have had such a moment, such an experience in your life when you were in love with someone or infatuated with someone and this person was like what people would say out of your league, or this person was so different from your lifestyle, or perhaps this person was like a different stereotype, but basically totally different from you in almost every way. In order to be with this person, it would be so much drastic change because this person is just from a different walk of life. Think of a time that you picked up a new skill, a new hobby, a new interest. Some of you maybe even switched fields of study. You even switched jobs just to create more opportunity to make you more qualified or more enabled to have opportunities with this person. I remember in grade school when I had a crush on a girl in the school track and field team. I was a fat, overweight boy at that time, just because I felt so disqualified for even speaking with her. That was when I began doing daily exercises, going on long runs, even though we all know that long runs are not the most effective ways of losing weight. But to me at that time, it was what seemed to make most sense. So I made concentrated effort in order to make myself change into a version of myself that would qualify me to speak to her, which I did. Got her number, and we actually remained in close contact for a while. But the funny thing was that when she went to high school, I'm not sure what happened. She just put on a massive amount of weight. She eventually dropped out of track, and I was so disgusted. We didn't end up dating or anything. On the other hand, I actually continued playing sport, and more sports to come. A lot of people have this to say about love. There's no such thing as love. Most of the time, you're talking about infatuation. There may be truth in that, there may not be truth in that, but at the same time, if you love something or if you're infatuated with something, an idea, a person, a thing, whatever that is, right? This obsession drives you to do great things. It drives you to go out of your way. It provides the justification for constantly pushing your limits and striving for something better. Of course, we have heard of many psychos out there who do very peculiar stuff, but that was the direction of their obsession. The point of me making this video is I want you to be able to summon a former experience. I'm sure many of you have had some experience. It could be somewhere from childhood, from your teenhood, from your early adulthood, some of you in your midlife, where you have come across someone that, you just wanted to be better for. All this time, maybe you've been trying to manifest for certain things to happen to you. You've been manifesting for that dream house, that dream car, career, lifestyle, whatsoever. But sometimes, maybe you just stopped short. You were not summoning up the feeling of the wish fulfilled as often as you should have. You were not summoning up the resolve to keep up with a regime of journaling. You were not constant enough in your efforts to do a daily to-do list that's in line with your goals. Maybe some of you have set for yourself certain short and midterm goals, and just because you couldn't meet them in the appointed amount of time that you gave yourself, you fell off and just didn't even give yourself the chance to do the same things in more time. Because I've said many times in my other videos, like for example, plants grow. They will grow, but they may take more time to grow because there are different aspects that happen. The weather may change, the rainfall may change, the soil quality may change. But it doesn't mean that they will not eventually grow, because they will. If you're working on anything in life, progress only stops when you've given up, or in some cases, progress only stops when you're not there to track it, when you're not there to receive it. Like in manifestation, we talk about abandonment. Sometimes when you tried your best, and you should try your best. The thing here we're talking about is that we don't try our best sometimes. But when we try our best and we don't get what we want in manifestation, we lift it up to the universe, we lift it up to God, we let the higher power take charge of this. And somehow things turn out the way that you want after a certain period of time, like a surprise. It could be a payment that suddenly shows up. It could be you receive a sudden email that your job application went through, or you receive a text notification from a client that you've been communicating with. Hey, we've decided to buy from you. In some cases, in the business that I do, we even had a client pay against an expired invoice from 2 months ago. And they'll be like, sorry, it took us quite a while. We're kind of embarrassed, but if there's anything else that we need to top this up with, let us know. Invoice us the extra amount. That is what I meant by claim it. Because sometimes the things are already there. Universe has already worked on it for you, but you gave up. Coming back to this idea about romance, love, desire, infatuation, I want you to summon that feeling that you once ever had with a certain scenario, certain person, certain thing in your life, right? When you're so obsessed with something, all right? And use that. If you're not already having this kind of obsession in your life with the things that you want to achieve, why aren't you doing so yet? Because when you think of a time that you were once that obsessed, that infatuated, that in love with a certain person, how much did you level up? Surely you can also do that with your manifestation goal. On a side note, some of you could be divorced, broken up, disillusioned with love. Maybe you gave up on love some time ago. Who knows? Maybe you've never come across anyone who shared the same goals and interests with you. I loved an analogy that someone once gave. It's like those RPGs, right? There are these wizards, they're the warriors, they're the mages. Maybe she's a mage, you're a warrior. But you all have the same goal of defeating the enemy, of conquering the kingdom together. You may be different in the means. You may be divided in the ways that you work, but you are united on the same goal and outcome. I'm twice divorced. In spite of the videos that I see on social media, like, very hurt men. I think Tate is one very hurt person. He seems to speak out only one particular type of women as though they're the only type that exists. And that is the type that hurt him so bad in his life. Frankly, that stereotype of women that he loves to bash, I don't like that type as well. But it does not mean that there are not better partners out there that exist. And women, some of you are watching this video, jerks are not the only kind of men that exist. And I do wish you meet someone that sets your heart on fire, gives you that butterflies in your stomach, that makes you want to dream again, that makes you want to get better. And perhaps you could tie that in with your purposes. Suddenly, may this be a massive catalyst for you to make massive improvement in your life and advance so much so soon. Think about it before you sleep and when you wake up. Before long, you will be in that place of success where you've always wanted to be, but never seem to make the progress that you want. For another great video, watch this one over here.